Yes friends, welcome once again to my channel, and up to here we had already learnt in the previous class that in case of reflection and refraction at spherical surfaces, the time or path is either maximum or minimum. Okay, we had already learnt this. Now Fermat's principle and laws of reflection we will learn in this class. So suppose we have a situation of this kind over here, that this is your point O, and this ray AO is coming over here, and it is being reflected through OB. Okay, so suppose this is your distance x, and this is suppose your d minus x, and suppose these are your foot of perpendicular, that from point A your AM is the foot of perpendicular on this mirror M1 M2, and from point B BL is the foot of perpendicular on this mirror M1 M2. Then you know this very well that this I will be called as angle of incidence and R will be called as angle of reflection. So clearly these two are parallels. Okay, this AM and this NO are parallels, right? And as they are parallels, so you know this very well that you know the concept that this is your transversal. These two are parallel lines, and this is your transversal. Okay, so as that is your transversal and those are parallel lines, so clearly one thing you can mark from here, that these alternate interior angles will be equal. So as this will be the angle of incidence, this will be angle of incidence, so this will also be equal to I only, because AO is the transversal and AM and ON and AM are parallel lines, and AO is your transversal. Okay, so this I and this I will be equal. Okay, and this R will also be equal by the same concept, that ON and BL are parallel and OB is the transversal. So alternate interior angles, that is R and R, will be equal. Okay, this is from class 9th geometry. Now you know this very well that I will be equal to your R, if I am not wrong. Okay, why? Because by laws of reflection I will be equal to R, but that concept will come later on. We will look at it later on. But first of all, have a look at all these things. That just a minute. Yes. So see, a light ray travels from A to B after reflection at O from a plane mirror M1 M2. From geometry of figure, time taken by light ray to go from A to B via O is. Now let us consider that over here in this particular area there is vacuum or air, you can consider. Okay, it is nearby the same situation. Either you consider vacuum or air, it is nearby the same situation, because the speed of light is almost same in vacuum and air. Almost same, not exactly same, but almost they are same in air and vacuum. Speed of light in air and vacuum is almost same, not exactly same but almost same. So your AO, your distance will be what? Distance is AO plus OB. AO plus OB is your distance, and your distance divided by speed. Distance divided by speed will be your time taken for the light ray to travel from A to B. So time taken by light ray to travel from A to B is AO plus OB divided by C. So that is your time taken by light in traveling from A to B. And C is the speed of light in the medium over M1 M2. Okay, over M1 M2. Over M1 M2 means this area. Okay, so speed of light C is in this area above M1 M2. Okay, someone was asking me about the privatization of Air India. So someone asked me that if you said that the privatization leads to job losses, you told me, but actually if the company is making losses, then what's the use? We should sell it, right? That's correct. We should sell any loss making company, any public sector unit. If it is making losses, then we should sell it. We should disinvest, or either we should privatize. That's right to say. That's true. But the problem is that the current government is privatizing even profit making PSUs. Okay, so some public sector units like the LIC and the SBI, those are profit making business. Those are profit making PSUs. Those are not like Air India. Air India was loss making business for government. So if they sold Air India, it's all right. It's all right that they sold Air India because it was already making losses. But what about SBI and LIC? SBI and LIC are profit making businesses and they are making profit to the government. So why to sell them? Okay. The Modi government wants to sell them also. That's the problem. Okay. That's the problem. Anyways, you will have to take the favor of government in that also. I already told you that in that case also you will have to take the favor of government only. Okay. So that's the thing, because if the government does not want that anyone should criticize them, then what will you do? Okay. The people who are trying to put question to the government are being jailed and being lynched. So what can you do? You will have to obviously take favor of the government in every case. Right? You have no other option, because you are going to be a government servant, and if the government is undemocratic, you will also have to be undemocratic only. Means with regards to interview and answer writing. Okay, you can't. That is not in your hand. If you were to join some political party, then you could have criticized the government. But unfortunately, in civil services, after 2014. You cannot write the truth. Remember this thing. After 2014, you cannot write the truth in civil services. Remember this thing. Okay. So this is the thing. And your AO will be, so we talked about something else also with okay, so this is your square root of, by Pythagoras theorem, what will it AO be? AO will be square root of a square plus x square by Pythagoras theorem. Okay. By Pythagoras theorem, this AO will be square root of a square plus x square. And this OB will be square root of b square plus d minus x whole square. Okay. B square plus d minus x whole square. Okay. One day will come when even I will be lynched on social media or something like that. Okay. One day is going to come, because I also try to speak the truth. Okay. So anyways, that day will come after the channel is famous. Right now that day is not going to come. Okay. So a square plus x square square root, that is AO, and OB is your b square plus d minus x square. This is your OB, square root of b square plus d minus x square by Pythagoras theorem. Divided by C will be your time taken to travel from A to B. So T is clearly, your time is clearly your function of x, right? Time is clearly your function of x from here. So dt by dx, what will it be? Dt by dx, what will it be? Instead of square root, just write power half. Instead of square root, write power half. Okay. So I wrote for power half instead of square root over here. And you know na, that square root is equal to power half. Okay. So dt by dx will be 1 by c will come out because it is a constant. So it will come out of the differential sign. And d by dx of this whole thing over here. Okay. So when you differentiate it, what will it be equal to? Half will come in the front. 2x will appear here. Half the 1 by 2 from half and 2x. Those 2 and 2 will cancel out. X by square root of this will come. Okay, so this is simple differentiation. I don't think there is any need to even discuss this. Okay. And why this minus sign has come over here? Because of this minus x. Okay. When you apply the chain rule and see, you will get the minus sign over here. So clearly from the geometry of the figure, this quantity, this entity, x divided by square root of a square plus x square is your sin I, and d minus x divided by this square root is equal to your sin r. By the geometry of the figure, you can see over here. Okay, you can see over here, this is your square root of a square plus x square. Okay, so from geometry of the figure, sin I, what is sin I? Sin I is opposite by hypotenuse. Okay, cos is adjacent by hypotenuse and sin is opposite by hypotenuse. So opposite by hypotenuse means x divided by square root of a square plus x square. So by opposite by hypotenuse formula for sine, by the definition of sine, you will get like this. And similarly sine r also by definition of, by your Pythagoras, not Pythagoras, by definition of sine r over here. Okay, over here when you apply the definition of sine r, what will happen? Sine r means opposite divided by hypotenuse. Hypotenuse, you know what is hypotenuse, and this is your opposite. Okay, so cos is adjacent by hypotenuse and sine is opposite by hypotenuse. You must have learned this in your lower classes. So from there, this is your sine r. So dt by dx is equal to 1 by c sine I minus sine r. Let this be equation number 1 and let this be equation number 2. So how to derive Fermat's principle from laws of reflection? So from laws of reflection, when I equal to r, so from equation number 2, what will happen? I will be equal to r. Suppose if we say that we have to derive Fermat's principle from laws of reflection, then what will we do? We first of all will consider that laws of reflection are true. So laws of reflection means I equal to r, angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection by laws of reflection. So from equation 2, sine I will be equal to sine r. This sine I will be equal to sine r. So this will be equal to 0. So dt by dx will be equal to 0. So that implies when the differential is 0, single differential is 0, not double differentiation. Double differentiation is used for something else. We are talking about single differentiation over here, one-time differentiation. So when one-time differentiation is equal to 0, then t will be extremum, that is maximum or minimum or stationary. From, you know this very well, that this is the statement of Fermat's principle which has been derived from laws of reflection. Okay. Now how this condition, you have learned this at the time of JEE, that if there is a graph of something like this, okay, this is your x and this is your t suppose, and there is a graph something like this, then these are your stationary points. These are your stationary points. This is your maxima and this is your minima, and these are your stationary points. Okay. So at all these points, the slope is equal to 0. Slope is equal to 0 means the curve changes its nature over there. Curve changes its nature over there. So dt by dx will be 0 at this point, this point, this point, this point, and this point. Okay. So that is the thing. So dt by dx is equal to 0, that is t is maximum, extremum, that is maximum or minimum stationary. So Fermat's principle has been derived with the help of laws of reflection. Now laws based on Fermat's principle, how can we derive the laws of reflection? We can see that also. Suppose t is your extremum, where if we consider that Fermat's principle is true, then t will be extremum, that implies dt by dx will be equal to 0. And as soon as dt by dx is equal to 0, this whole entity on the right side equal to 0. So sine I will be equal to your sine r basically. And as soon as you say that sine I is equal to sine r, clearly I will be equal to r by laws of reflection. So not by laws of reflection, laws of reflection has been derived from here. Okay. But someone may say that sine I equal to sine r is there. Sine I equal to sine r is the situation we have. Then why only I equal to r is the conditions. A condition of this kind might also arise, 180 minus r, right? Because sine of 180 minus theta is also equal to sine theta. So this is equal to your sine 180 minus r also. Okay, sine 180 minus r also. But this situation is not possible, because you can see from here that I equal to 180 minus r situation is not possible. Mathematically it is possible. Mathematically it is possible, but practically not possible. Why? Because if suppose there is a line like this, then 180 minus r means which 180 minus r means which angle? So 180 minus I will be equal to r. So your angle of reflection will be like this. Okay, your angle of reflection will be like this. So this light ray has traveled straight forward. It will mean like that. It will mean that the light ray has traveled straight forward, because from here you can see, right, I equal to 180 minus r. So what will be your r? R will be equal to 180 minus I. R will be equal to 180 minus I. And as soon as you see over here that your r is 180 minus I, so your r will be like this. Okay, so there is no mirror at all. It will mean that the light ray has passed straight away. the light ray has passed straight away, because this is equal to 180 minus I, and this will be equal to your R. So light ray will pass straight away. So that condition is not physically possible, because in that case there is no mirror existing over there. There is no mirror existing in that case. But that case is not there clearly, because we have mirror M1, M2 with us. So this condition will be nullified. Sin 180 minus R will not happen. Only I equal to R will happen. I equal to 180 minus R situation will not be possible, because that is a situation which is mathematically possible, but the thing is that it will exist when there is no mirror at all. It will exist when there is no mirror at all. Okay. So laws of reflection, as soon as I get I equal to R, I get the laws of reflection. So from laws of reflection, you can derive Fermat's principle using this expression. Using this expression, you can derive Fermat's principle from laws of reflection, and you can derive laws of reflection from Fermat's principle using this equation too. Okay. So this is the thing. Now we will look at the 2019 PYQ in the next class, which is during reflection at plane surface, time or optical path is minimum. We will look at it in this 2019 PYQ in the next class. Okay. So thank you very much.